And this is a good strategy to use for any class, any test. But all I did was I folded my periodic table in half and half again, and it kind of, so what you're going to be doing is putting anything that you can remember on your periodic table side. So let's start with, first of all, the groups of metals. So metals start at group 1 and pretty much go over here. It gets a little weird over here at the stairs, but it does include several elements here in group 13. Okay. The characteristics of metal, and I'm going to write them down, is they're shiny. They have luster. They're malleable, meaning that we can use hammers on them. They're conductors. They're ductile, meaning that they can be pulled into a wire, but they're poor insulators. Okay, so that's majority of our periodic table. Then when we come over here, I'll do the non-metals. Non meaning not. They're pretty much group 14 on. Okay, to group 18, the noble gases. Okay, non-metals would be not metals. So they're going to have the opposite properties of metals, right? They're not shiny. They're not malleable. Okay, and then our stair step right here where we see the dark line are our metalloids. So I'm going to box our metalloids. Okay, they're on the stair and under the stair with the exception of aluminum. Aluminum is this one. Aluminum we use a lot. Most of us know that it's a metal, but you use that on grill, things like that. And then here are our rest of our metalloids. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 metalloids. And they have properties of both the metals and the non-metals, okay? The other thing I'm going to point out is right here, because there's always questions about if it's a capital I or an L. So on the periodic table, this is iodine, and that's what a capital I looks like. So remember that for your STAAR test. The other thing I want to cover are the columns. The columns, which go up and down, are where we're going to find elements that are most similar. And they're called groups or families. So if we're looking for elements that are going to act similar, be similar, we want to find elements in the same column, group, or family. Okay, and then over here, I'm going to write periods. Those are the rows. Okay, so they go across. Okay. The other thing I'm going to add at the top is the other chemistry things that we talked about. Okay, so when we were looking at, I'm just going to write this one out, C6H12O6. Okay, so sometimes they ask you questions like this. Remember, how many elements do we have? 1, C is carbon, H is hydrogen, that's our second one, and O for oxygen. So we have 3 elements. okay? But we have 24 atoms total. And how do we know that? 6 plus 12 plus 6 gives us 24 total atoms, okay? The other note that I want us to write down is something like this. Li plus O2 reacts to give us Li2O. Okay, so we saw something like this year. Remember, these are different elements. The subscript tells us how many atoms of oxygen we have. And they also added a thing like they told us, okay, we have to figure out the number of grams we have here. And they gave us 5.7 grams here. And then they told us 24.6 grams here, right? So what would we have to do to figure that out? We would have to subtract them, okay? And fill that number in there. So go ahead and do that. All right, the law of conservation. Of mass. Remember, it tells us that we cannot create or destroy, that everything has to be balanced,